Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Mission Possible team call. Happy 2023. This is the first time the Mission Possible team is gathering as a greater team in this new year, and I'm excited to see so many smiling faces. I know that we're eager for a fresh start and just really to take advantage of all the things that are happening within the Juice Plus world and community. There is a lot. So thank you so much for being here, Sharon Rankin. If I haven't had a chance to meet you, I think I know most everybody here, but Sharon Rankin zooming in from Nashville, Tennessee, been with the company for 38 years, still love what I do, and excited as much as we could possibly be as we kick off 2023. So I always want to remind everybody and acknowledge that your choice to be here says so very, very much. So thank you for joining. It's important to stay connected. I love that saying that isolation is the greatest enemy of our business, because it is true. The connections and build the community. So each week when we come together as a team, it really is to remind us and inspire us on our mission, which is inspiring healthy living around the world. And we are doing that one person, one conversation at a time. And so the Mission Possible team is definitely a growing team of inspired individuals, agents or ambassadors, however you want to call yourself, dedicated for change, dedicated to creating a healthier, more prosperous life for as many as possible. So we're doing that right now, and we have a super opportunity to do that as we launch into what's happening here in the next 3 months. So I'm going to turn this over to my partner, National Marketing Director and friend, Nancy Jacobek, who has our special speaker tonight. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Sharon. And I just want to start by thanking Julie for taking time out from her busy schedule and her family time to be with us this evening. Julie, we really appreciate it. The rest of you are in for a treat, I know. I'm going to just give you a short bio on Julie, and then I'm going to turn it over to her and let her take the reins. But Julie Mues is a wife and mom living in St. Louis, Missouri. She's blessed to have her husband, Eric, who has always supported her in her Juice Plus business. And I just want to say, I know Eric, and not only is he supportive, he is so proud of his wife. And Julie, he just believes you can do anything that you put your mind to. And I have to say, I think he's right. She's mom to Stan and Maisie. Aren't those darling names? Stan is 8 years old, Maisie is 6, and they keep her busy while she juggles motherhood and growing her team in woven moments. I like that phrase, that you're weaving your business into your family time. Julie's background was in IT staffing, and she stepped away from her very lucrative career after a year with Juice Plus to stay home with her children and pour more into her business. Her team reached National Marketing Director in 5 years, and I didn't know this. She now homeschools her 2 children, which she didn't see coming. How's that going, Julie?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. She didn't see that coming, but she's so thankful to the Juice Plus company for giving her a way to marry her income with her passion. And today, Julie loves to inspire others. Listen to this. She loves to inspire others to make what's number one in their heart, number one in their time. So, Julie, take it away. The rest of you, get your pens on turbo speed, and let's take some good notes.
Turbo speed, because I can talk a little fast. I know I'm guilty of that. Well, thank you so much, Nancy, for inviting me to be on, and Sharon. I mentioned it earlier before the call started, but my very first event was a Branson boot camp in January, and then a Kentucky Lakes boot camp in February. And the vision that was cast for me at those events is why I'm here today, 100%. And so I swear by those boot camps, and I shouldn't encourage it too much because it's all booked up, but the Kentucky Lakes boot camp was just incredible. So that was the first time I met Sharon Rankin, and I was blown away by what she had created. And I'm just thankful that I get to be a little piece of it and that I get to share with you all tonight. So this is my crew here. This is my husband, Eric. And when I started this business, this little guy was just 4 months old. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you my story in the first half, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's working for us and what we're excited about right now. Like Sharon said, we have a lot to be excited for in our Juice Plus business. So Stan was just 4 months old, and my sister invited me to an event to learn about Juice Plus. And I was kind of where, I'm sure you've seen this quote. I was in this spot in my life where homicide is 0.8% of deaths, diet-related diseases is over 60%, and no one's talking about it. I was on that journey of learning the connection between food and disease. So I was ready for a mission like this. I feel like a lot of people are on that journey or have been over the past couple of years. But my sister really wanted me to go to this event, and I didn't want to go because I had my brand new baby at home and I was just back at work. But I said yes, because I remembered that a family member of ours had taken Juice Plus like 17 years prior while undergoing chemotherapy for melanoma. And I thought, number one, I can't believe this product is still around. He probably got it because of Nancy, honestly. I can't believe this product is still around. And number two, I can't believe he could take it while undergoing chemotherapy. So it has to be different. And I went that night. This is my sister and I. We learned about the product and it totally spoke to me. And my sister's smarter than I, and she realized it made sense to partner with the company. She could earn back on her own product and mine and anybody else that she shared with. And she looked at me all excitedly and she said, Julie, I'm going to partner with the company. You should totally partner with me. And I looked at her and I said, I will never, ever do one of those things. And I kept this in here tonight just because this is how much it's changed in just 8 years. I was calling it one of those things. And today, and I'm sure Nancy and Sharon can talk about when they started, but it's not even like doing one of those things. It's which thing are you doing? I mean, everybody is doing something, right? People are supplementing their income in so many different ways, and partnering with companies is not unique anymore, even like it was just 8 years ago and 30 years ago. It's kind of a no-brainer now, we know, right? But that's how quickly it's changed. But all that made sense to me was this product line. I was so excited to get these beautiful nutrition into my body, and I decided to become a customer first. But what happened is obviously I dyed my hair, but my sister and I ended up having an awesome experience. So just 2 months in, I had terrible allergies that would always lead to sinus infections. I was so shocked. I went 2 whole months without an antibiotic, and now it's been over 8 years. I had more energy. I was happier. I was having an incredible experience. And that was not at all what I was anticipating. I got on Juice Plus because it just made sense, not because I was looking to see a change. So when that happened, I asked my sister to send me more information because I'm like, send me more about the research. This is even more powerful than I thought. And she sent me to a website that had all this information, and I was learning up and naturally thinking of people in my life, right, that needed to know about Juice Plus. But what was also on that website was information about the business. And I was stumbling onto these trainings, and I guarantee Sharon and Nancy were some of them. And what I was gathering from these men and women that I was listening to was that there was a real business behind this opportunity. Like, this wasn't about just offsetting your costs. I mean, people were replacing their full-time incomes, and I just didn't look at these kinds of opportunities that way. And kind of to my earlier point, more and more people are deciding to, is my internet okay for you guys? Are you hearing me okay? All right. More and more people are deciding to earn income in different ways and kind of do that side hustle route. But in a way that's kind of watering down what we have, because our opportunity can be much more than just a side hustle or offsetting your cost, of course, if that's what you want. But that's what I was learning. And I decided at that point, okay, maybe there's something more to this. I did want to plug in more, and I didn't want to give my sister all my customers, because at this point I was sharing very naturally. So I partnered with the Juice Plus company, and I did 2 really smart things. And I didn't realize how smart it was at the time, but I went to those boot camps. I started saying yes to every single event invitation that I got. And there is where the vision really started happening. So I realized through attending events and being a part of this community that I had something that everybody calls now the golden handcuffs. So I had built a career in IT staffing. And up until that point, I thought I really loved what I did. But what I realized once I had my son was I really just loved the paycheck. And dropping my son off early in the morning and picking him up late in the evening and having to ask for permission to take him to the doctor or for time off was really frustrating to me. And because I earned this good income, I felt even more stuck. I've actually found myself being envious of, friends who said, oh, daycare and my income are a wash. I thought I'll never be there. I just want to spend more time with my family, but I'm not going to be in that position. And I was listening to a podcast one day, and this woman asked a brilliant question. She said, I want you to consider your current position, your current job. And I want you to think about where you could be in the next 5 to 10 years if everything worked out just as you'd like it. And I thought, okay, if everything worked out great, I could have my boss's job. And then she said, I want you to think about that person and their lifestyle. And is that what you want? And in my corporate job, it's a very stressful industry. So this person that I was thinking of, he wasn't very healthy because he was incredibly stressed. And we know how hard stress is on our health, right? He lived in Kansas City, worked in St. Louis. He had 3 beautiful boys he rarely got to see. He was that kind of person that you could feel the stress energy the second he walked into the room. And I thought, if I think I have golden handcuffs now, imagine where I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years. His were much golder and much tighter, and he likely felt way more stuck than I did. And it was at that point that it dawned on me that I spend about 60 to 80 hours a week, most of my waking hours, walking a path, and I don't even like where it's going to land me in the next 5 to 10 years. And up until that question, I really hadn't considered that. But I also didn't have a vehicle up until I had found Juice Plus. So I was able to consider it. And most of you on the call know all of this stuff, but I have to go through real quick just the opportunity that's in front of us because it still blows my mind. We're partnered with the Juice Plus company. Our product is 30 years old, but our company is 50 years old. So to be able to stand on that longevity and stability, I'm so thankful I'm not partnered with the next new flash in the pan, opportunity or product out there, but I have this longevity I can stand on, and I get to share the largest selling, most researched whole food product in the world. It's doctor recommended with over 13,000 healthcare professionals sharing it. Yet me, Julie Mues, wife and mom, work from home mom in St. Louis, Missouri, gets to offer the same product without all the letters behind my name and without all that money put towards my education, right? Even my OBGYN recommends Juice Plus as his preferred prenatal. Thankfully, he's on my team. So that's an even bigger win. Of course, we have our small product line that's consumable. The consumable piece is what makes our stable and lasting income. My upline always says, I wouldn't be here if we were selling candles. This is something that shakes us up even more than that, right? And then it keeps going, only $52 a year, which is great, but it's even more important because you can build a team that way. Everybody, can say yes to this opportunity. And we're walking into a season where more people are probably going to be looking at diversifying their income, and the $52 a year makes it so it meets everybody where they're at. No inventory minimums, quotas. Our benefits package at NMD, I've yet to find another company that offers that. And then, as we all know, our national ad campaign, which is starting tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. So my vision really grew when I learned this, and I learned this really early on. This is called the S curve in marketing. And if you just imagine a cell phone, right? There was a time when cell phones were in infancy, and 1 in 100 people that you knew had one. They were big, bulky, hard to use, expensive, and hard to even get to. And what they did while they were still in infancy is they found a way to make them affordable, easy to get, and easier to use. And you kind of felt like you blinked, right? And 99 out of 100 people, or 100 out of 100 people, have a cell phone. Well, what still blows my mind about the Juice Plus product is that we're only in about 3% of homes, which we all know is absolutely crazy because it is the best product out there in our space. But what's been going on over the past 30 years while we've been in infancy is we're getting sicker, and we are seeing that our current solutions aren't working in the way that we'd like. And people are really starting to take ownership of their own health and what decisions they could make that can really impact their health. The other thing is that the whole, food is medicine and food and disease, while it may have been a hard sell 30 years ago, everybody's telling that story now. So this is there's not even a big hurdle to jump over. People get that fruits and vegetables make sense. They just don't know that we have the perfect product in our back pocket. And of course, over the past 30 years, we've invested in our research and perfected our product. So even though copycats are coming along, they don't even hold a candle to what we've been able to do over the past 30 years. And then finally, what we've been missing that's kept us from going through this expansion phase is awareness. So when you have a company that's willing to invest in a national ad campaign, and hopefully we're out there being vocal that we are a part of the Juice Plus company, they know exactly who to go to get their product. So I remember hearing that we were only in 3% of homes 8 years ago and thinking, if this makes so much sense to me, it has to be that all my friends just don't know it exists. Because if they knew that fruits and vegetables were in a capsule, they would have it, and they just don't know yet. And that's what's led to my success over the past 8 years, but we're still just at the beginning. I mean, that's the reason why I kind of kept this information in here, is because it's a brand new year and it is time. It's a great time to restart, because people are going to be hearing about Juice Plus, and our goal is that they think of you. So Jeff Olson shared this when we turned 25 years old, and I just think it's the most powerful thing ever. But our product is the brand name in whole food concentrates. And we're right at the cusp of people really starting to learn more about Juice Plus. And he just talks about, imagine if you partnered with the brand name of coffee, which would have been, if you locked arms with Starbucks back in 1996, where would you be today? Or the brand name of cell phone technology, which would have been locking arms with Apple back when they were 30 years old in 2001. This is all just to let you know that this opportunity that we have in front of us is still so, I mean, more than relevant, but so fresh, and people need to hear about it. So we make so many investments. We invest our money in so many different ways. We invest our time in so many different ways. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's watching TV, maybe it's in relationships. We invest ourselves in so many different ways. And once I learned enough about this opportunity, I thought, this is the investment that I'm going to make. This is a worthy investment. And I today feel even stronger that I was right when I made that decision 8 years ago, that this was that worthy investment. So this is me and my daughter right before this call. She goes, "Oh, who's that baby?" I'm like, "That was you." She was 8 weeks old at a St. Louis regional, just showing up, being in the room with a, table full of friends, learning, getting poured into so I could go and pour out. So at this point, I just kind of want to transition a little bit to where we are today. We hit NMD. I need a better picture, but this is my husband and I. When we hit National Marketing Director in Austin, I was the lucky one that got to give my NMD speech before the world shut down. But we hit NMD in 5 years. And we did that through me just being able to benefit from the consistent events and the leadership that had gone before me, and just kind of following in line, working on my mindset, doing what everybody before me told me to do, and just kind of taking the next step, got us to NMD. But I will say I've had a really huge mindset shift. And this is blank. Sorry, I want to look at my phone, make sure I'm not going too late, because I feel like we're all just getting a clean slate right now. I feel like that is what COVID did for everybody, is it just wiped everything clean. And I think it's a perfect time to restart or to rebuild or to start over, whatever way you want to use it. When I look back at how I used to view my business and I used to view events, it was very much like, events are what we have to do because this is what successful people do. And what COVID changed for me was actually finding joy in doing events and seeing that the events that I host and attend and invite into really are a service to others. And now more than ever, people are longing for community and connection, and we have the best community. So we just need to get out of our own ways and make sure that we are inviting people into this. So you all, I'm sure, know this. I think I even learned about this at the Kentucky Lakes Boot Camp. But just in case we have some newbies, I want to make sure we know how to prioritize, right? So you've got the empty jar and you have to fill it up with the big rocks first. If you start with the sand and all the unimportant things, the little doctor's appointments and the basketball practices, you're not going to fit in the big rocks. So just in case, and I hope you didn't, but just in case you missed Atlanta, I'm really sorry. It was the most incredible event ever, Juice Plus Atlanta. It was, in my experience, the very best conference we've ever had. And just to be back with the Juice Plus family felt so wonderful. But the only thing that's probably going to be better than that is Phoenix in April. So I hope that that is on your calendar and that the ticket is booked, because there is not a better investment you could make at all than knowing that you're going to commit to being in Phoenix. That is your big rock. And then, of course, the Kentucky Lakes boot camps. For a long time, I said, boot camps are even better than conference. I'm finally getting to the point where I appreciate conferences as much, but you can learn so much from the boot camp. So those are your big rocks. And then filling it in with the pebbles and, of course, then the sand. But for me, I had this big shift of rethinking my invitation. Heather Koenig is a newer NMD from the St. Louis area, and she did a training for our team. And I just keep going back to this. She said, right when she decided she was going to plug into her business, she decided she was going to go to conference. And this would have been a couple of years ago. And she was on a walk with a friend. And that friend ended up being one of the sales coordinators that got her to NMD. But her friend told her, years later, you were telling me you were going to go to conference and you were so excited, and you were so excited. And I just really wanted you to invite me. If you just would have invited me, I would have gone, but you never invited me. And that just shook me a little bit, because I am even though I know better, I am constantly answering the question for people. And Jeanette Vitruba is one of my upline mentors, and she always says, nobody's going to come up to you and say, can I go to your barbecue? Can I go to your barbecue? Can I go to your barbecue? No, you have to invite them. And I've struggled with viewing events as being an inconvenience. But COVID and having to be in isolation for a couple of years totally changed that. And I realized what an extrovert I am, and that to invite someone to invite someone to an event is the biggest compliment you can give them. To think of them and to take your time to invite them to be a part of whatever it is. Number one, you have to say yes and you have to show up. But number two, to take time out of your day and let them know why you thought of them and why you want them there is such a compliment. And I think people are viewing that differently now. I think people are appreciating it more today than they were even 5 years ago. So I've had this shift, and I've moved it more to service. And I really think that the most successful people you're going to see in the next 10 to 15 years are these people that, coming out of COVID, are deciding that they are going to build community, that they're not going to wait for it to be built and then show up, that they're going to be the leaders. They're going to be the ones hosting the events. They're going to be the ones kind of starting the snowball, beginning to push on the flywheel and creating the momentum, are the ones that are kind of getting out of their own way right now and scheduling the events and starting the community. So we kind of said yes to this. I can't think of how, maybe it was somewhere around 6 months ago. I grabbed one downline buddy and I said, if you will lock arms with me, if we just have one another, we're going to do these monthly events again. And it sounds goofy. I mean, here I am in IMD and I was like nervous to do events again, right? But we just hadn't been doing them for so long. And she said yes, and we've kind of started our little snowball trickle event or trickle that's happened. But grab one buddy if that's what you need. And it doesn't all have to be in person, of course. You got to make it work for what lights you up, what you're going to be excited to invite into. But I know for me, grabbing one person really helped. So whether it's sideline, upline, or just a friend, and say, just be with me and support me in this. And we just have a really healthy flow of one product event and one business event a month. And because we are scheduling out at the end of every event, we can invite people to come to the next, because people are happy and they're excited when it's over and they think of people and they want to bring them. So, as a leader, be the one that gets it on your calendar, but don't just do one, schedule out a couple and commit to it, whether you have a bunch of people in the room or not. I love, for a long time, we've done salad, stories, and solutions. And it's so easy. I provide the greens and the toppings the greens and the dressings, and everybody brings the topping. We know if people bring something, they're more apt to show up. So that's a great way for people to bring something super easy, cut up cucumbers, right? But then we really got sick of salad and it's cold out. So I changed it to soup, stories, and solutions. And it's so simple. I mean, you make a big pot of soup, everybody brings something to share. We are pretty quick and efficient. So we eat at 6:30 and by 7 o'clock, we're going to talk. And I just do a really short Juice Plus presentation followed by stories. And you could play a video. You could do the Tuesday night call. It doesn't even have to be that you're the one doing the event, presenting the information. I think more than anything, it's just opening up your home and getting people together again in community. But you have to feed them something. So whether it be a meal or it's sweets, they'll come for coffee, they'll come for cookies, and they'll come for a meal. And then, of course, always have your order forms ready. Have it so they can take advantage of the next step. But I just want to give you a little bit of a personal story. I mean, we had our first one and we maybe had, 4 people here. And I do not have a big home. So if that's your excuse, I have like 1,000 square foot home. But the benefit of that is that it looks really full. You don't even need that many people because it fills up really quickly. But, we'd have 4 people, and then we'd have 6, and then we'd have 2, and then we'd have 5. And my event right here, Soup, Stories, and Solutions, is tomorrow night. And I think we have like an RSVP of like 17 people now, but it's just each one is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And they're nothing remarkable other than people are being so filled up and being so served by just being in community again. The business events that we love to do, we did a coffee and cash flow, we did a cookies and cash flow. But really that's a little bit different. And I partner with some of my sidelines as well, and just share lots of business stories and whatever education or videos you want to around the business. But we're doing these on a very consistent monthly basis. So this is a way that you could do in-home events, or, at a bigger venue if you'd like. But it's not only events, really, it's just any way that you can create community. This was something I did 2 years ago. And when I look at our team and the leaders on our team, many of them came from this Miracle Morning Challenge I did in November of 2020. And it had nothing to do with Juice Plus. It was just a group of women that were going to come together and challenge themselves to wake up earlier. We read the book Miracle Morning and we did it for a month. But what happened from that was relationships were formed. A really tight community was built. So just in me remembering kind of, some cycles within my business, I thought, well, it's January. People are ready for a challenge. I think this whole time, January, February, and March, people have more time on their hands. So we just are coming together, and we did a 2023 starts with me. And we're doing this challenge of waking up earlier, reading 10 pages a day, exercising outside, and dry January, no alcohol for the month of January. So this really has nothing to do with Juice Plus. But because of this challenge, I'm talking with a girlfriend about hormones that I didn't, haven't been connected to in a couple of years, or I'm just, re-energizing these relationships because it's another doorway. We do have to earn the right, share with people, right? And this is just a way that you can build community. I'm only sharing this just to help get your juices flowing, because deep down, it's about what fires you up. And when it comes to hosting events, that did not fire me up. I kind of had to push myself out of my comfort zone, but I will tell you now, the high that I get after each event that we host, it really is incredible, because I'm seeing that I'm serving my community. I know it impacts my business, but even if it didn't, I see that I'm showing up as a leader in my community and serving others. And I think that this is the ideal time, because people have a blank slate and they're going to fill it with something, and we have the best option. So let's give them and invite them in to our option. So I just wanted to say that when I started really dreaming, like envisioning myself 8 years ago my son was at the Kentucky Lakes boot camp, 6 months old. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if I could work from anywhere? What if I actually enjoyed the job that I had? What if I earned an income doing well for others? What if it wasn't something I had to retire from? What if you could call up your FA and say, oh, you know what? My retirement goals, add an extra $1,000 a month to that. That's what I earned through my Juice Plus business. This was all a what if, and today I still feel like I have to pinch myself, because I cannot believe I earn the income I earn through this incredible company with the options that I have with my family. And here they are, 6 and 8, and they are number one with my time, and they're number one in my heart. And that dis-ease that I had when I started my business was because I didn't feel like my life aligned with my priorities. And because of the Juice Plus company, today it does, but it's still really just the beginning. So I'm so excited about what we have ahead of us in 2023. I know we've got a little bit more time. Oh, no, we don't. It's already 9. I'm sorry. I was hoping to give some time for questions, but you ladies, let me know what you want to do.
Julie, that was absolutely amazing. I just want to, you're getting applause, and I know that if it wasn't so late, we'd give you a standing ovation, but everybody's as tired as you are. So I'm going to turn it back to Sharon. Sharon, you run it the rest of the way you see fit. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Julie. I just want to add my heartfelt thanks for your pouring into us tonight, and just the vision, your story, passion, purpose. I'm all about events. I get a high after events too, especially the ones in the home. I just love that community and the fun that has there. And we did some of those last year. So, and thank you for touching on what's happening with the TV ad campaign, because that is what kicks off tomorrow. I hope it's not a secret to anybody on this call, but in case you haven't heard, the exciting announcement is that Juice Plus is doing an ad campaign starting tomorrow for the next 3 months. And our job, as Julie said, is to get the word out. And I could be remiss if I didn't say, how do you get the word out? And you can go to boards. I hope everybody is utilizing boards. It has it's all in there for you. But wear your Juice Plus clothes. If you don't want to open your mouth, just wear your Juice Plus clothes, carry your bottles, your shaker bottles, carry some chewies and gummies and sample packs around with you, and get the word out and be bold and be loud and let people know you're in your business. Let people know. Many of you know that I'm pretty homebound now with an aging father who is now in a hospital bed and not able to go anywhere, but one of the caregivers came in today. She left with Juice Plus stuff. When I went to a home the other day, they heard about Juice Plus. So I am taking advantage of it every single opportunity, because I want people to know when you see those ads, you think of Sharon Rankin. I hope you guys will do the same thing. I hope you guys will do the same thing. So thank you so much for being here as we kick off 2029. We've got a great January planned for everybody, by the way. We're going to start well, finish strong, come every week. We're going to talk about that, what that means as we move through 2023. And Julie, thank you. I look forward to seeing you at conference in Phoenix. Yes, we'll be there, of course.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. You were just phenomenal. Delightful. We love everything you do. I'm just telling you for sure. Have a good week, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for being here. Let's shine the light.
Thank you, Julie. It was wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.